In this demonstration, we're going to look at creating and validating a Windows Server 2012 cluster. So the first thing we need to do is we actually need to install the cluster feature. So what I've done here is I've come on to LonServe 3, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add roles and features in Server Manager, select my Next button. I am going to add a role-based or feature-based installation, so we'll select Next. Server selection will be LonServe 3, select Next. In case of server roles, we don't want to add any additional roles, and select Next. What we do want to do though is we do want to install the failover clustering feature. We'll add the additional features, we'll select Next, and then we'll select Install. Right, this is going to take just a couple of minutes just to install the failover cluster feature, so we'll pause the presentation and return back once the installation is complete. So now we've installed the feature, we've also installed it on our second server as well, so we'll just close down the screen. Then what we'll do is we'll come to Tools, and now we've installed the feature, we can now go to our Failover Cluster Manager. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're just going to validate configuration. On the screen we'll just select Next, and then on select our servers or a cluster, what we're going to do here is we're just going to enter in our two servers. And our two servers are LonServe 3 and LonServe 4, so we'll select Next. Then in the case of our testing options, we are going to run all tests recommended, and select Next. And then under the confirmation here, as it says here, we're ready to start the validation. These are the tests that are going to be run. So as you can see, quite a few tests. And at this point here, we'll select Next. And as we can see, it's now validating. Now we're not going to sit and watch this green bar move across the screen. So what we'll do at this point is we'll pause the presentation and return back once the validation tests are complete. So as we can see, the failover cluster validation report has come back. Up at the top here, it's saying that it has completed successfully. Config appears to be suitable for clustering. However, it says we should review the report. And if we look down here, I'm expecting a few issues, purely because we've got one network adapter in each of these virtual machines. But as we can see, near enough, all ticks. Fairly sure we only had one warning. So now that we've done all of that, what we can do is we can select our Finish button. And this then brings us into our Create Cluster wizard. So what we'll do at this point is we'll select Next. And then in the case of our access point for administering cluster, we need to give our cluster a name. So we're just going to call this Cluster 1. What we're going to do is just put an IP address that we're going to use here. So we're going to use 172.16.0.125. Select our Next button. And what we'll do here is cluster 1, we're going to add these two nodes to the cluster. We're going to have this as the cluster IP address. It's telling us to add all eligible storage to the cluster as well. Yep, we're happy with all of that. So what we'll do at this point here is we'll select Next. Now what's going to happen, it's going to go away and create the cluster. So we'll pause the demonstration and return back once the installation is complete. So as we can see, cluster has now been created, so we can select our Finish button and we now have our cluster in place. Final thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create a cluster shared volume. So in order to do that, all we're going to do is in our cluster manager, we've highlighted our cluster. What we'll do is expand this up a bit. We'll come down to storage, and then under storage, if we just have a quick look here, what we've got is we've got our disks, we've got our pools. So let's just go for disks. So you can see the disks we've got in place here. We've got our disk witness and the quorum here. We've got disk 2 and disk 3. We can see, if we scroll this along a little bit, the owner node, see the capacity, see the disk numbers, and we can see relevant information. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to come to cluster disk 2, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to add to cluster shared volumes. As you can now see, this is now changed to a cluster shared volume, so this now has the ability to be owned or accessed via multiple Windows Server 2012 nodes. That's the end of this demonstration of creating a cluster in Windows Server 2012.